Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Marina. I am a certified lash tech based in Toronto, Canada, and I like making lash videos. A disclaimer before I go into my video is that everything that I am sharing with you guys are just solely based on my own opinions and techniques that I prefer. Every lash artist has their own way of doing things, you know. We all are artists out here, so please take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because sometimes if you are going to try my techniques, they might not work for you, and that's totally okay. I make videos because I want everyone to have different sources and different ways of learning lash stuff. So hopefully somehow you guys learn something from this video. So jumping right into it, today we are going to be doing lash spikes, as you can tell in the title of this video. And so why I wanted to make this video is because I've been seeing a rising trend in lash spikes, and that's not just for the strip lash look, which is where I first saw it. I don't know if anybody else saw it there first, but then I saw it in the wet lash look, and now people are just incorporating spikes into their lash sets to make them more textured, to make them more wispy, to make them spiky. I personally love like the spiky set. As you can tell, I have a few spikes, but definitely need to get my lashes done soon because they are not looking cute. But with COVID and everything, I haven't been able to lash either, so this is why I'm here making a tutorial video, because I want to give you guys some content that you guys can take away, and hopefully I can help you in some type of way, whether it's small or really big. So I'm gonna hop right into it. I will demonstrate how I do these techniques and why I like them, and then hopefully you guys can try them with your next client or when you're practicing on your mannequin. You never know. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first method is the primer method, and this is where I get a lip gloss applicator stick and I'm gonna run it through the lash strip like so. So right now there's no primer on it. I'm just gonna show you how I do it. I'm using a Belly primer, and I really love this primer. It's affordable and I've been using it for quite some time now, so it's kind of my go-to. So you're gonna put a little bit on. You don't want to drench it because it's gonna soak your lashes, and you don't want to do that. Alright, so now you can see how the lashes are now gathering together. And they kind of clump together in these already made spikes. Now, as you can see, the second lash has now clumped together, which is a no-no because it's going to be way too heavy for the natural lash. So you just stick your tweezer in and it separates very easily. No worry. You have to be careful because remember, these are still 0.05 fans that I'm using, so that means that your spikes have to be a little smaller. If you do want to go thicker, go ahead, use 0.03, but for 0.05, you want to keep the lash spikes relatively small because they're still heavy and can damage the natural lash. So as you can see, I picked it up from the tip, or closer to the tip, and I pulled towards me. And so you can see that the bottom of the lash has now separated into a few pieces, and that is totally okay. That's very easily fixable. I don't have my glue dot out yet because I just want to show you guys kind of how you do it. But here's a glue dot. This is a different spike, by the way, but this is how I dip it. And again, you know, you want to go slow. You don't want to pick up too much glue when you're pulling it out. And I swipe a little bit all the time. And I'm just going to place it here so you guys can see what it looks like. And there you go. It's a really nice spike. It's super pointy and very dense. Great for strip lashes. Now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like if it is a little bit separated. And do you see how it kind of turns into a Y? Now this can be used still in your lash set if you want to, but what I do is I kind of shimmy with it like how I'm doing here. This one didn't seem to want to close, so usually what I would do is kind of play around with that lash for no more than 30 seconds if I have a client, because it's going to take too much time. See, you can see I'm trying to add primer and the two, you know, aren't closing, and that's totally fine. Some people actually will use that, but for me, I don't think I would. I would just disregard it and then do another one. So here's another example. This one I didn't pull off clean, so I'm just gonna bring my hand in and I'm gonna remove that little hair there. You don't want anything to be messy or getting in the way, so I just removed it. And then there you go, just kind of displaying the spike. This one actually turned out really nice. I like it. It's dense, it's thick, and it looks really, really nice. Okay, and it's obviously like not all your spikes are gonna look the same. Like look at these three, they all are a little bit different. So that little I don't know, squeeze that I do with the tweezer is just a technique I like to do to kind of close those fans. Here's a close-up. Or sorry, not fan, spike. But here are the close-ups of the spikes. And here's a little 360. So I would use the two on the outer for sure. Like even the one that's not as close, I could still use that one. And it would achieve the look I'm trying to go for. And I'm going to show you guys one more. And then pull towards me. So there you can see I didn't have the sweet spot in the tweezer. Totally okay. I'm still going to continue. Dip it in, pull out slowly, and there you go. You have a wonderful spike. Just because you didn't pull all the lashes off doesn't mean that you can't continue and use those lashes. So that's a pretty nice spike. I would definitely use that for a strip lash look. The one on the left hand side I'd probably use more for like a wispy hybrid. So this is my second method. Grab, pinch, and dip. So what I'm going to do, grab it off the strip lash, pinch the top. As you can see, it's separated on the bottom. So what are we going to do? Use the adhesive to help get them to stick together. And when you do that, slowly release a little bit of pressure into your tweezers. This way it allows the glue to kind of connect together like a magnet. And then your fan will close into a spike. So make sure to release some pressure when dipping into the glue if the base of your spike is separated. I always go in with a little bit of primer regardless of what method I'm using. It just makes the spike look that much better. So primer definitely would use. If you guys don't know what primer to use, I have it in the description box. So please feel free to go look at it. And again, just another demonstration. And this time I did it differently. I grabbed, dipped, then pinched. So you can kind of like alter to whatever you feel. But I actually kind of like doing the grabbing, the dipping, and then pinching the top, because it makes sure that the base of that spike is going to stick together regardless, and then that top is going to be spiky anyway because you're kind of squeezing it after you dipped it into the glue. So here's another demonstration. Pull towards me, pinch the top to create that nice spike. The bottom is now open, so I'm going to dip it into the glue, pull it out slowly, swipe, and then re-pinch the top to kind of give it that nice shape and that nice spike. And yeah, that is one of my first methods I ever learned. And here's another close-up of all of them. So as you can tell, they do differ in the way they look. They'll never always all look exactly the same, and that's fine. You can use different spikes for different reasons. So I would keep all of these except for the one that divided into two. I don't know if I would use that one. Alright, and then we're on to our last method, the big dip. This one is a little bit more risky because you don't want to damage the natural lash. So I would suggest a tip. If you are going to use this method, it's dipping the lash very deep into the glue dot. So you're kind of submerging like half of the spike in there. When you put this glue like that high up onto the lash, you can see that it kind of closes that fan already. Like it's just going to close because there's so much glue on it. The only thing is that this is really dangerous because if you put way too much glue and way too much lash, it'll damage the natural eyelash. So make sure you're only grabbing a little bit if you're going to use this one. But this one is a great for like beginners because it's really easy. You just take it off and then you dip it really far into the glue and most likely it closes. You'll even see this with like big fans. If you accidentally dip your fan into a lot of glue, it closes. But again, be careful. You don't want to, ruin anyone's eyelashes. And yeah. So this is just an example of when it can go wrong. I accidentally squeezed the bottom and when it had the glue to kind of get rid of some glue, and now the top opened up. So that one I'm totally disregarding. Like I'm not going to use something like that if I'm lashing someone. It's just going to look silly and I want it to look relatively clean. So here's another demonstration. So I'm just going to lightly pinch the top. This is going back to the grab, dip, and pinch because I'm just kind of showing you guys, like reiterating the different methods a little bit here. And then sometimes I'll just flick the bottom like that if the pieces don't stick together. So if I don't release the pressure on the tweezers, sometimes the bottom will separate. So I just use my finger and kind of stick them together. It's not messy. I don't really get that much glue on my hands, just like a little bit on my fingertip. So if you do find that your base is separated when you're dipping it and it still won't stick together, just go ahead and assist that base with your finger and it'll stick together like relatively smoothly. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. There you go. So here is another example of a separated base. And yeah, I'm just pinching, pinching, pinching. And then slightly dip. I accidentally got the other lash spike in that glue, but I wouldn't normally have a setup like this if I had a client. I always use a glue ring. Yeah, so as you can see, this one looks pretty okay. It is fairly open, a little too open for what I would prefer. Unless someone was just looking for either a wet lash look or a wispy hybrid, then I would definitely use that. But if it's a strip lash look, I like to keep my spikes super pointy for those, so that'd be a no-go. And here are all my spikes. Just a little preview, and then I'm gonna show you guys the primer part again, because again, I just wanted to re-demonstrate the different methods that I'm using. I didn't even have that much primer on there, but there's a little bit, so it worked, but I should have used more, because you can see that the top is not even sticking. I don't even know why I continued to do this, but it just kind of shows you what can happen sometimes, because the primer can dry up on that lip gloss glue, so you're gonna have to reapplicate later into your lash session. And then I grab the top after I dipped, and just to kind of stick it together. So I mean, you could mix these techniques as well, so feel free to mix them to achieve the best spike. And yeah, those are the different methods. So obviously from that demonstration, you can see that there are different ways to do it, and some are definitely easier than others. The thing is, though, it's what you're trying to achieve, right? So usually for me, when it comes to strip lashes, I'll try to achieve a more closed fan, a sharp fan, something super pointy, and you know, it really accentuates that spike. But if I'm going to be doing maybe like a hybrid wispy set, I might do a spike that's not as closed, to not only just like add that texture, but you know, keep the fluffiness intact a little bit. I know some people really do admire and love the fluffiness of lash extensions. So when you close the lash and make it super spiky, it kind of loses that fluffiness. It's all dense and together. So yeah, those are just the 3 methods that I try. I actually switch them up when I am lashing, depending on the set, obviously. But usually I like the primer method the most, just because it's quick, it's easy, and it allows me to lash a lot faster. So if you guys are looking for a way to increase your lash speed, I would definitely recommend the primer technique over the other ones. But again, like I said, it depends what you're trying to achieve and what kind of look you're trying to go for. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I tried to make it as informative but concise as possible, just kind of get to the point. If you are new here, it would really mean a lot for me if you could subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna keep making lash videos. I'm gonna, you know, do a lot of lash with me videos, but also tutorial based videos, and in the future you will see some collabs that I have been planning for, so that's gonna be really exciting along the way. Thank you so much for joining my journey. If you like this video, please leave a like on this video, and if you can, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Any engagement really does help boost my channel just a little bit. Thank you guys so much. Every week I post on Sunday at 6:15. Bye!